Hi. So, when you are facing any struggles in your life, you might be very panicking, you're like so lost. And that was me a lot of times in my life, which I believe you guys are probably going through the same things, or unfortunately, going through in the future. We can never avoid any struggles, right? But when I got a chance to watch the cartoon Adventure Time, anybody watches that before? Yeah, it reminds me a lot about being in the present moment and just believe truly in the surrounding and believe that the universe will walk its way through your life and everything's going to be perfectly okay. And during the moment of struggles, I tend to collect my experiences and I condense it into the soul framework, which I will be presenting today during my talk. What you seek is also seeking you. So, my framework includes four components: seek, observe, understand, and liberate. First, for seek, what is the true purpose in your life? When a struggle arises, you're like, I don't know what to do with it. Why does it happen in the first place? Where did it come from? How do I deal with it properly without creating any negative impact on our lives? When I was a teenager and during my childhood time, I had a few struggles that they have left a negative impact on my mind, on the way I work, on the way I communicate with people. And there are countless suffering I can name. But my house went down on fire for like 2 times in the past. And that was a very difficult time for both me and my family to cope with every single change at that time. It was horrible. When I was 17 years old, my father passed away during a serious illness, and I was a teenager, lost, not knowing what to do whatsoever. And so when I grow up, or like now, I ask myself when a struggle or difficulty happen, what is this struggle pointing me at? Because it doesn't happen for like no reason. Life will always throw a lot of random things, bad things, extremely good things at you. And how are you dealing with it? What is the true purpose? And talking about purpose, there is this scientist called Viktor Frankl, and he has a logotherapy, which is a psychological term, which means that we, as humans, we seek meanings and purpose in a lot of things that we do in life. There is nothing that we do that it exists without any proper intention. It's just that you guys are not seeing the deeper intention of it. For example, you guys do not want to fail an exam, not because, yay, I want good grades, I want my teachers to be happy, but the real intention behind it might be that, yay, I want my parents to recognize me, to validate my effort, and I want to show myself. I want to have some pride for me, right? So, what is your struggle pointing you at? It's like a compass leading you to like unknown roads, like into the unknown, right? For observe, when a difficulty arises, you have to stop for a while and then you're like, has this happened before? If yes, then why is it happening again? How am I dealing with it this time? What emotions are arising at the moment? And there is a question as you guys grow up, people will ask you, how do you know that you have grown? How do you know that you have been better? How do you know that you're not the same child as you were yesterday, a month ago, or a year ago, right? And that question got stuck in my head as well. How do I know that I have grown? I know that I have grown up gradually because how I see a problem has become very different from what I would see it as me in the past. When a struggle happens, you ask yourself, am I feeling the same things as I will be feeling if this happened like 2 years ago or not? If I fail an exam now, if I make my parents disappointed now, does it still feel awful as it did in the past or not? So, what old narratives are at play? What are you telling yourself? What are the stories behind this struggle that you can observe at the moment when a difficulty arises? So, I have found a mindfulness based cognitive therapy for patients diagnosed with depression. And the three psychologists they say that the more mindful your brain gets, the more effectively it works. So you have to like hold it down like this. Do not let it explode, because a lot of wrong decisions are because of you are letting your brain and your mind explode. You're letting yourself being dragged away by the problem itself. And after you've been a completely crazy person out of their mind, you're like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done for this situation to escalate so badly like it does right now? Okay, so be very careful when observing your problems and your feelings, your emotions, you're seeing, as I put on the flip chart over there. For understand, I have a question for all of you here to just use this question whenever a difficulty, a problem arises in your life. The question is, what is this struggle making me become? Like, who am I becoming because of this struggle? It is not here to destroy you, to completely ruin who you are at the moment. You've seen a lot of movies, I assume. You've been reading a lot of comic books, and the heroes, the main characters, they only have to go through a lot of struggles to get to the end where they get victory and they are worshipped forever for 1,000 years to come, right? So if a struggle is coming into your life, it might be a good signal that, yeah, a struggle is coming, which means a victory will follow as well. Okay, so that is what I need all of you and myself to understand when a difficulty happens in our life, and how might this experience be shaping me? Who is this turning me to? A stronger version of myself, a more confident version, or a weaker version, or a more reluctant version of myself? You have to answer that. And I read about post-traumatic growth, or as I would like to put it, stronger after the storm. Is the storm destroying you? Like this person is holding himself to a tree so he doesn't get like flown away by the storm, right? But after the storm passes, he looks at a tree, the same tree, no storm at all, but he still feels scared within him because he keeps reminding himself that this is a signal that reminds me of a bad memory that happened. I look at all the rejection emails I ever received, and then I'm like, why am I being rejected so much? But then one bad comments on social media arises as well. And then I'm like, why am I ignoring 10,000 more positive ones on social media, right? I write things, I got rejected for them, I got denied a lot, but then I realized rejection is redirection. The universe is putting you in some places, some other places that might be more suitable for your growth, for you to become who you are, right? So you do not go to bed at night and think, oh, I feel awful. This is not the life I want. But if you are struggling, it might be because you asked for it in the first place. So pay really close attention to that, okay? The last step is to liberate. When I conducted my research on human psychology, I come across a lot of terms which are very useful, but maybe the term that I need to read more is liberation, to achieve freedom. But how do we actually correctly understand freedom? Is that am I having to cut away all the relationships I'm having in my life to achieve freedom? No. I have been betrayed by a lot of people, right? And whenever I meet a new person, I have to be very careful. I build a whole barrier surrounding me to protect myself from being hurt again. But for example, I have a friend named Nam, for example, and he betrayed me. So whenever I meet the same person called Nam, I will hate him the same way I hated the older person, right? But we have to let go of that thought. We have to liberate ourselves from that negative, repetitive memory that we're having inside our heads. We have to let go of them. We don't have to destroy them. We don't have to reject them. We just have to let them be. It's like an old toy. We don't do with toys anymore, for example, but we put it in a box. We don't think it's like good looking, but maybe after 2 years or 5 years, you check that box again. It's still there, the same old boring toy. But then you're like, it doesn't look that bad. It still has something that I can value from this memory experience that I have with it. So liberate yourself. Tell your own story. When a problem arises, you look into the mirror and then you're like, I'm a separate person from this problem. I am not this problem. I am telling my story from a third perspective, the third point of view, right? So stand strong, stand confidently in front of yourself, face yourself, and let go of all of those negative thoughts inside of your mind. Acknowledge that they do exist. I go back from home to home every single day, and then I'm like, do I like the person that I'm becoming today? Then I talk to myself in the mirror. It might sound a little bit lunatic, for example, but it's a journey that shows that you are trying your best to understand yourself more and who you will become in the future. But why should we use this framework? The first one is soul, seek, observe, understand, and liberate, right? But why do we have to follow this framework? We can just pick like one of them and leave it there. I can just observe. When I'm done observing, I stop. So why do we need this framework? It's because we need to avoid cyclical stagnation. It's a whole cycle repeating over and over and over again. I observe my pain. When the same pain comes to me, I observe it. And then I'm like, I'm suffering for a year to get over this pain. But when it happens again, then I overcome it in like 1 month or 1 week or even like 3 days, right? So you have to keep avoiding this cyclical stagnation so you do not face the same problem over and over and over again. Or as I would like to put it, if you do not finish the lesson that you need to learn now, the universe will make you like relearn it over and over again. Yep, just destroy it completely. So for example, a month ago, I was caught in a social media drama, and applying this framework has been giving me a lot of useful insights. I seek validation and connection online, which is why I do what I do. I do my writings, I do my podcast, I write my books, and that is what I'm seeking, validation and online connections from a lot of amazing readers. But then a drama arises, so I observe it. And what I found is the repetitive emotions. I feel awful all the time. It's like a repeated pattern over and over again. And then I turn to the understand phase, which is I fear being misunderstood or being invisible. Nobody sees me for who I am. That is what my understanding of who I am today. And to liberate, I have to let go of the control that I need to defend myself to be worthy. If you are caught in a drama, for example, and you keep defending yourself, you blame other people, you debate with them, for example, and then you are caught in that cycle over and over again. You can never escape out of it. But then I chose to step out of it. I chose to stop. I give one public announcement, and that's all. I don't do anything else anymore. You just do not have the time for that. The soul framework is meant to save your precious time, to be more present in this present moment of your life. Okay? So, there are a lot of things to be seeking. There are a lot of things to be observing. There are a lot of things to be understanding. And there are a lot of things to be liberating. So does this framework mean that we have to chase after so many things in life? So what are we actually seeking, observing, understanding, and liberating? The answer is soul. We're seeking our soul. We're observing our soul. We're understanding our soul. And we are liberating our soul as well. So take really good care of your soul, and you will get to where you need to go to. Okay? And always bear in mind this one sentence of mine: fighting peace in a noisy world. And that is the soul framework that I want to present to all of you today. And I'm very thankful for your attention. Thank you.